Welcome to Radio64, where we play remixes of the music video games have provided us over the decades. Many of these tracks can be found at the website Overclocked Remix at ocremix.org. I'm Eric Mickles, also known online as duskvstweak. This is the first episode of Radio64, and I've got a selection of songs that I'm going to be sharing with you. So let's begin with the first track I have. It's called Whiterun by mellogear from Overclocked Remix. This is originally from the game The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The original source tune is called The Streets of Whiterun by Jeremy Soule. The reason I chose Whiterun is because I think this is a incredibly relaxing tune that always puts me at a state of peace. I actually prefer the remix here than the original song. I remember when I first got to Whiterun in Skyrim, I was a little disappointed by the actual song. It didn't have that element, mellow yet cool atmosphere that this song has. So first up is called Whiterun by mellogear from ocremix.org. Again, Whiterun by mellogear from Overclocked Remix, ocremix.org. Next up is a song from Final Fantasy VII. This track I have here is called Scenes from a Memory by Juan Medrano, Suzumebachi, and Zircon. It's based off the original Sword tune On That Day 5 years ago by Nobuo Uematsu. My apologies for any mispronunciations I'm going to do. This song, On That Day 5 years ago, from Final Fantasy VII. This track is actually from the album Overclocked Remix, produced a long time ago. Goodness, it was 2007. I had just started college there. And this album actually kind of got me through my first semester or so. This album came out, and I was just like, thank goodness that Overclocked Remix exists and it's free. So the album was called Final Fantasy VII, Voices of a Livestream. It was a full remixed album of the game Final Fantasy VII, every track, and it's a good long listen. Definitely worth your time to listen to the whole thing. It's been one of my absolute favorite songs from that album, from that site, for a long time. So this is Scenes from a Memory by Juan Medrano, Suzumebachi, and Zircon from the game Final Fantasy VII, ocremix.org. That was Scenes from a Memory by Juan Medrano, Suzumebachi, and Zircon from ocremix.org. Fantastic stuff. I love that. It's it's so exciting. The song came out in 2007, but I'm still listening to it. Our next track is another song from Overclocked Remix album. The album is called Donkey Kong Country 2 Serious Monkey Business. If you've played Donkey Kong Country and you've played Donkey Kong Country 2, it seems to be the general consensus that Donkey Kong Country 2 has a lot more of a melodramatic, darker feel, and I think the music kind of represents that. Always left me feeling a bit melancholy when I was a kid. I always felt very alone, even if I had both characters alive. I always felt very alone, especially in the mine levels, or the lava levels, which this song is from. The song is called A New Place by Injury, MJ Ault, Nicole Adams, and Tepid. It's originally a remix of the song Hot Head Bop by David Wise, a legend in the video game music field. It's our first track today that has a vocal performance. I've always kind of liked it. It adds to that already inherent melancholy feel to the song. Both voices in the song play really well with each other, create this really lovely tune of a pretty atmospheric song that's already kind of tugging at the a bit lonely feelings that you would have gotten from the game. A New Place by Injury, MJ Ault, Nicole Adams, and Tepid from OC Remix.
Surrender, we stick together and we're never gonna fall. We'll brave the weather, take whatever as we drift along. Light as a feather, we're gonna make it on our way to the unknown. We don't surrender. Don't surrender.
You're there.
That was A New Place by Injury, MJ Ault, Nicole Adams, Tepid from OC Remix. And definitely check out the album Donkey Kong Country 2, Serious Monkey Business, one of my favorite albums from that site. Up next is a fairly recent song. Actually only came out in August, and from a game that I have not played, Octopath Traveler. Originally a Switch exclusive, and I was pretty jealous. It made me want to get a Switch just so I could play Octopath Traveler when I was traveling for Christmas. I restrained myself, I didn't get the Switch, but now it's actually on PC. I can get it on Steam, so that's the plan, to finally play Octopath Traveler, because I love a good JRPG. I've heard mixed reviews about the story, maybe not living up to its full potential, but it always looks like an absolutely gorgeous game. From this, it sounds like the music's pretty good too. I'm a big fan of a good JRPG soundtrack, so from what I've heard, it seems like Octopath Traveler is following suit with that. This song is called By the Flame by Rozovian. That's originally remixed from the track Flame's Grace Guiding Light by Isunori Nishiki. It does a lot of different things. It's a bit more synthesized. You know, on Overclocked Remix, they say it has a winter holiday vibe, which I don't necessarily get, but I could definitely see people hearing kind of a Christmas tone from this. But for me, I just kind of hear the mellow electronica feel of it all, and that does it enough for me. So, yet to play Octopath Traveler myself, this song is already now one of my new favorites. By the Flame by Rozovian from ocremix.org. That was By the Flame by Rozovian from ocremix.org. Continuing with other games that I haven't played, that I want to. I've never played the Uncharted series. I didn't have a PlayStation 3 for a very long time. I only recently got a hold of one thanks to my sister, who actually gave me my third PS3 after I bought one at a yard sale that kind of died. Bought another one off eBay, no good, and then my sister gave me her working one. Of course, it meant she could get a PS4, so she could get the Spider-Man edition, but, you know, her gain is also my gain here. I do plan to get to the Uncharted games sometime. This one's actually from the fourth game of the series, which was actually a PS4 game, so the PS3 won't help me out anyway. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. The song is called Some Distance by Radiowar, and it's a remix from For Better or Worse by Alex Belcher and Henry Jackman. Radiowar tends to be able to do some atmospheric songs that have a dark edge to them, but also always feel a little bit hopeful. There's one he did for Wild Arms, which really spoke to me when I first heard it. And this one also has that same kind of laid-back, chiptune-y, cool vibe, I guess is what I want to say. It does a lot of cool things using that chiptune sound with actual acoustic strings that I think really works. It brings in that electronic and also that acoustic, so you get that machine element, but then you get that very tactile feel to it all. And I think it's a really cool sound. It makes me want to play the game. I gotta start the Uncharted games, but of course I have to play Uncharted 1 first, and I hear that's kind of rough around the edges. Up now is Some Distance by Radiowar from ocremix.org. Some Distance by Radiowar from ocremix.org. Finally, a game that I have played. We're back to a game I've actually played. Jade Empire was a really cool BioWare game. I think could have been improved upon if the game had been given a series, but BioWare seemed to have lost interest with it. I know Mass Effect and then Dragon Age were the popular ones, and that's what they kind of focused on. But I think if they ever go back to Jade Empire, it would be really cool. I'd like to see a new game from this. The song is called Global Empire, and the track is by Big Giant Circles, Soul Signal in Tweex. It's a remix of the original tune Fury Hammer and Tongs and Techno Tune by Jack Wall. And it's a intense, energetic song. It just starts building and doesn't stop, and it just becomes this fast-paced, cool electronic epic. And you know what? The song is long enough. I'm going to let it speak for itself. Global Empire, Big Giant Circles, Soul Signal, Tweex from ocremix.org. That was Global Empire by Big Giant Circle, Soul Signal, and Tweex from ocremix.org from the game Jade Empire. Next track is called Hot Machine Cold Surface by Ben Prunty. It's originally a remix of Ice Valley, the Phendrana Deep Lake area from Metroid Prime, originally by Kenji Yamamoto and Koichi Kayuma from Metroid Prime. And if you have played Metroid Prime and you got to the Ice Valley, it was pretty obvious that you were listening to a really cool track. And in a game that had a pretty good soundtrack, to me, the Phendrana area had the most atmospheric and cool sound. It has a lot of really cool piano pieces in there, and I think it just really nailed that like icy sci-fi vibe that it was going for. Ben Prunty, some of you might recognize that name. He did the soundtrack for Faster Than Light, FTL, a fantastic roguelike sci-fi spaceship game that I am absolutely terrible at, but I love it. And that soundtrack it's so good. A fantastic game composer in his own right, and here he has gone and remixed this great track from Metroid Prime. Now we are about to listen to Hot Machine Cold Surface by Ben Prunty from ocremix.org. That was Hot Machine Cold Surface by Ben Prunty from ocremix.org. That's real cool stuff. No pun intended. This one is a really weird... It actually kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I first listened to it. It's called The Life and Death of the Mario Brothers by Mattias, Häggström, Gerdt. Obviously, the game over theme and the overworld background music, you start the game, you hear that track. Originally by Koji Kondo. It's a chiptune electronica thing, but it has this kind of rough edge around it. Now I love it. I think it's really cool. I like everything that kind of grungy synth sound that's coming through, but it took a while. The Life and Death of the Mario Brothers by Mattias, Häggström, Gerdt from ocremix.org. Alright, that was The Life and Death of the Mario Brothers by Mattias, Häggström, Gerdt from ocremix.org. I hope you liked it right away and you saw the light before I did. Another more recent track, though, from 2018, so time keeps going by fast. I'm getting older, I'm not getting younger, and I'm not getting any better at video games. I'm certainly not getting better at Mega Man 2. This is a remix from the Metal Man stage by Namani Matsume and Takashi Tetsushi, and this is called Made of Metal by PsyNES and Elrinth. It's an electronic take on Metal Man, the music, which I don't think is a hard thing to find, electronic or, very hard rock metal takes on the Mega Man soundtrack in general. I was surprised because I really thought I had heard all the great remixes that the Metal Man stage was going to create, but just last year, PsyNES and Elrinth proved me wrong. This is a fantastic track, so enjoy Made of Metal by PsyNES Elrinth from ocremix.org. That was Made of Metal by PsyNES, Elrinth from ocremix.org. Mega Man 2 soundtrack. I'm sure in future episodes we will hear many a track from the Mega Man franchise, but specifically Mega Man 2. Our last track of the show is One Small Step by Moiré Effect. Originally from the track Uncharted Worlds from Mass Effect, and that was David Keats, Jack Wall, Richard Jacques, and Sam Hulick. Mass Effect 1, I think I prefer the first game's soundtrack. Kind of vibe that maybe you got from watching a sci-fi movie from the 80s on a VHS that you had kind of wore out. And they kind of made it a bit more orchestral and cinematic in the future games. But Mass Effect 1, I really like the soundtrack. And the Uncharted Worlds track is a great one. So One Small Step by Moiré Effect from ocremix.org. That was One Small Step by Moiré Effect from ocremix.org. That's the show. Thank you for listening to Radio64, where we play remixes of the music video games have provided us over the decades. And again, all the tracks today can be found at Overclocked Remix at ocremix.org. Again, I'm Eric Mickles, also known online as duskvstweak. If you have requests of songs you would like to hear, of remixes from video games, or if there's a game that you would like to hear a mix from, please let me know on Twitter at duskvstweak. Thank you to WRAQ 92.7. Thank you to everybody listening to the show. I will see you next episode.